this afternoon, Rockstar? Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited that you said yes, because the next guy that's taking the stage has got a bullhorn. So if you thought I was loud, you're going to love what's about to happen. I would like you guys to do me a favor. We're so excited. Mike is a good friend of ours. If you've seen Mike's messages in the morning as he's going through scripture every day.
Morning Verses with Mike.
Morning Verses with Mike. He does leadtheteam.net if you've never checked that out. The front, right? And you go to leadtheteam.net to connect to that. Mike Phillips is a good friend of ours. He's been out of Rockstar, and now we are so excited to have him as one of our Rockstar Hall of Fame speakers. Would you guys do me a favor? Get back up on your feet and make some noise for Mr.
If you've seen any of my videos, I start literally every video that way. It's like, jazz hands, right? That's pretty much, I think, Frank Phillips' favorite things, jazz hands.
That's right.
So, give you a little history on myself. I am the digital marketing executive with McCloskey Motors in Colorado Springs. Officially, that is what I do for a living. I love it. I've been there for right into my 15th year now. I also do, as Matt said, leadtheteam.net. And that is, I do free sales training, motivational content, leadership tips. I also do a podcast titled The Front, and it's all about leading from the front, being in front, staying in front, getting out front, grabbing your people and taking them out front with you. And so my session today is going to be titled Automotive Leadership. Your front line drives your bottom line. So, and also Matt and Chris, I don't know where you guys went. Matt, I can see. Chris, you're still in the same spot. Thank you guys for allowing me to do this. I'm really honored, and the speaker lineup is phenomenal. So I don't get too far into this. So let me give you a little history on myself. I started off my leadership journey, my coaching career, as a youth hockey coach. I coached youth, primarily inline hockey, did some ice hockey, and played for almost 20 years. So to give you an idea, here's one of my hockey teams. That is my oldest son, who's now 17. He was our mascot. We started an inline hockey team called the Colorado Panthers. Okay? And this was when I was playing also. And when we started this team, the way that it was born was we had a group of kids. I'd been in the roller skating industry as a part owner in a roller skating rink. And came up through that. I look amazing in tight white pants on roller skates. Just visualize that for a minute, if you would. Sean Dudley in the back got really excited. I don't know why. So anyway, got into coaching inline hockey. It was a real passion of mine. And we had these kids come from the primary kind of hockey club in town. And these kids are kids that came over. They would have been kind of second stringers, if you will. Here's another shot of them. That's actually me on the right. You can see, like I said, to give the idea of the tight white pants, that was my dad jeans pre-dad. So I coached all these kids. Yeah, dad jeans. Sean Hayes knows what I'm talking about. So we brought these kids over. They were essentially second string hockey kids. And when they first came over, one of the things that I started to realize in coaching them was that they had this fire, and they had this passion, and they had this excitement. And they thought, you know what, if I go over here to this hockey club, I have a chance to be first place. They went from being the small fish in the big pond, right, like the second string people. We've all been there in our lives, haven't we? Anyone ever been that second string person just trying to pull yourselves along? Say aye.
Aye.
So they thought, well, hey, if I go over here, nobody knows me. This guy doesn't know me. The group doesn't know me. If I go over here, I have an opportunity to be first string and to win. And so I started to fuel that passion. I started coaching. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like 20 years old. 20-year-old hockey coach, right? He was about 20 there. And started coaching these kids and getting them all fired up. In our first summer, we go into, and this was inline. I did ice as well as a registered USA hockey coach for a number of years. Referee, everybody loves hockey referees. Anyone here a hockey fan? All right, perfect.
Go Wings.
Go, I'm from the Avalanche State, sir. So we're like diametrically opposed there. So anyway, these kids had the opportunity to be these first string kids. And as I'm coaching them, as I'm learning with them also, and we're getting ready to go into our first tournament, our first season, right? And they're all excited and they're fired up, and we get out there and we go out to the hockey floor and we're all pumped up, and they go out there and we get absolutely destroyed, crushed, kicked in the teeth. And the one thing throughout the season, through all the practices and all the things that we've done, and from me learning from my mentors and teaching these kids, I said, it doesn't matter how good or bad we do. We're going to go out, and I would say we would be men, but you can see we had one young lady on the team, and she was awesome. She was our starting defenseman. Woo-hoo! Yeah, just so you guys know, anyone who's coaching women in business or coaching women at anything, women actually listen. I would say they listen differently than men, but women listen, and I'll just leave that there. So anyway, I know guys, some of the guys do too, some. So yeah, what'd you say? So anyway, we go out, our first tournament, we get crushed. And as they're going through the line, one of the things that I realized, you cannot teach, but you can groom character. And these kids are going out there at the first tournament, and they're just getting smoked, and they go through the line, and they got to look everybody in the eye and genuinely tell them, hey, good game. We hope to see you next time. And then with each next time, we continue to practice. We continue to pour ourselves into it. We continue to fuel their passion and light them up and fire them up. And every single practice, every single tournament, every single game, between myself and their parents, we kept saying, look, you can do better, you can do better, you're going to do this, you're going to pull it off. We are winners, right? And these kids developed and transformed from this team that started out as the second string kids to become a very favorable hockey team, inline hockey team where we're at. So we're going into the final tournament of our first year. Final tournament of the first year. We're headed into the quarterfinals. And these kids say, you know what, and they're all fired up. They said, if we can win, and keep in mind, these are 14-year-old kids, 14, 15-year-old kids. So their highlight, it wasn't like, hey, afterwards we're going to get the trophy, we're going to get the win, we're going to get to celebrate. We didn't get showered with anything. They weren't going to Disneyland. They said, look, if we win this, we want our parents to shave their heads.
Oh, shit.
Some of you guys are cool with that, right, Gary? If we win this, we want them to shave their heads. Moms, too. Sign them up. Well, it's my job as their coach to get that job done. So I said, okay, I'm in. So we're headed into like the quarterfinals, and I go and I bet the parents. I said, listen, the kids are so fired up, and all season they had cheered for them. They'd been alongside them. We'd been at early morning practices. They'd done all the things necessary to support these kids so that they would have the opportunity to not just compete, but to win. And every single parent said, yeah, I'm in. Sign us up. They win that final game. We're shaving our heads. Moms too. Yeah. That's probably the first time that I knew I'd be able to be a car salesperson. If I could sell that, I was like, all right, here we go, baby. Let's sell something, right? Now, that was many years before I got into car sales. So we go in, we're headed into the final game, and it's tied at halftime. And I got a few parents that are starting to sweat it. Right? It's halftime, we're there, and I don't remember the specific score. It's like 2-2, 3-3, something like that. But it's tied. And the parents are still there banging on the glass, fired up, cheering for their kids like, you can win this. I don't think the kids realized what their parents would look like with no hair. Or what the parents had signed up for. So we go through it, and can anyone take a guess at what happens? No, we lost, thank goodness. Everyone kept their hair. Right? I know that's super inspiring. Right? But the point is, they made it to the championship game. We went from being a ragtag team of hockey bandits to being competitors, to being professionals, to being a contender. Everybody here that wants to be a contender, say aye.
Aye.
Right? So fast forward. That hockey team had a huge impact on me, and that was where I started to learn to love leadership and the psychology of leadership. Like what it meant. How do you work this out? How do you connect with people? How can you get more out of somebody than they can get out of themselves? And it all started with a bunch of 14-year-old kids and a 20-year-old with tight dad jeans. So fast forward to 2004, that's the second car I ever sold. That is a 1984 Chevy Celebrity station wagon. Yeah, let's hear it for used cars. I still do used cars. I've been there for almost 15 years, right? And I've done just about everything in the dealership. So besides being a hockey coach and a business owner, I started out selling cars. That's my first love, is I love to sell. Over time then, was our first Auto Trader guide. Right before there was the internet manager, everybody had an Auto Trader guy, right? Who's been in the business long enough to remember the Auto Trader guy or gal? It could be an Auto Trader gal, right? Before it was like the internet salesperson or the internet manager, that's what it was. Then I worked up, I was a closer, I was a sales manager, been finance director, was the GSM for a number of years, and now I am in digital marketing, handle the back end stuff, right? Try and drive people into the showroom. But still, our philosophy in store stays very much the same, is that we have to be with our people on the front. We have to be the ones like the parents just banging the heck out of the glass, fired up, cheering for our people to win. So the question is, are you one of those people that is banging on the glass, fired up, cheering for your people to win, or are you the person sitting at your desk, banging on your chest, shouting directives? Because that doesn't work anymore. So that's kind of where I'm at in automotive as it stands. Went from hockey, learned leadership, learned coaching, and now I'm knee-deep in automotive and I love it. I'm still heavily involved. My desk physically, Jamie's with me this afternoon, he's my social media guy, right? And my desk physically is in the center of our BDC room. And so that's so you can catch the rhythm of the dealership, right? The people that are in leadership in here, you know what it is to kind of catch the rhythm of the dealership, whether it's in the BDC or on the sales floor. Like, you can feel what's going to happen for the day, can't you? So let me ask you a question here. How many people here are completely comfortable calling themselves a leader? And I mean completely comfortable calling yourself a leader. Just show of hands. About a third of it. Third of us, right? Oh, sorry, that was my hand slide. See, I get off track with the slide thing, man. Show of hands? Okay, about a third of you. So here's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about there's three key things, in my opinion, what I want to share today. Three key things for leadership success within your dealership. Number one, we've heard many people, Coach Sherry, Wynn, Frank, that just now we're talking about, look, what do you have to do when you're a leader? You got to be able to cast vision. You have to be able to see it before it happens. I'll give you a tip. If you can't see it as the leader, as the person, it doesn't matter if it's leader by title, figurehead, if you cannot see it, neither will your people. The second thing, you got to train your people. I'm going to go through activities on each of these just so you know. I'm a big fan of activities. So the second thing is you got to train your people. You actually have to invest in them. Who here is in leadership in a store? Like has a manager title and so forth. Who's not in leadership? Who is a salesperson, a frontline? Man, that is awesome. Because that means people want to grow. They want to take it to the next level. So the question is, the people that are here, and I know we have a heavy population of sales hustlers, right? Right? You have somebody in your store that is training you and investing in you to the point that they want you to be as good or better than they are. Is he in your store?
Every day when I'm
Well, yeah. Touche. Thanks, Sean Hayes, for not illustrating my point. Thank you. That person in your store that wants you to be as good or better than they are. And I agree. Guys like Sean Hayes, Glenn Lundy, Dave, I mean, they're all over the place. That's the unique thing about social media. It brings us all together. It doesn't matter if you're halfway across the country, halfway around the world, or 2 blocks down the street. You can have someone that wants to invest in you. I think that rocks. Woo, Rockstar. Okay, so when I'm saying train your people, as a leader, you've got to do it so fearlessly that they can surpass you. See, many leaders don't want to give all of the secrets. What do they say? Yeah, if I give all the secrets away, they won't need me. No, let me give you a tip. If you're in leadership or if you want to be in leadership, take note of this right now. If you can train somebody to do what you do, it gives you the opportunity to move and do something that somebody else does.
That's right.
You want to be stuck? Stop training or being willing to be trained. The third thing, get out front. I love the front. Yeah. Right? That's my theme, my podcast. Tune in, that's a shameless plug. But you got to be willing to get out front. Like, you have to be able to be willing to walk down and say, okay, well, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to look at what my dealership looks like from what the customer sees. When's the last time that you did that, or one of your management team came down and went and drove the front line so they could see what the hell's going on outside of their dealership? We all manage from the inside out. You should be managing from the outside in.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy.
You got to see what the customer sees. Oh, that's going to give feedback on a speaker.
Look at that.
Ooh, man.
I am a spry
Agile.
Takes a lot to get this thing moving. All right, so I'm going to dive into each of these. So number 1, casting vision. Here's the first activity. The vision casting activity. Here's one of the ways to cast vision. You're all half asleep after lunch, so everybody stand up. And here's what you need to do. You need to be able to see what I'm doing. Once you get to where you're going, you need to stop and keep your feet planted, and you got to be able to do this without smacking the crap out of someone. So move around the room. If you're next to Jerry Peppers, you're going to get knocked out. So move where you can do this. Oh yeah, yeah baby, calisthenics after lunch. This is where the magic happens. You want to know what's awesome? Because I was going to keep track of stuff. Okay, now that you can do that, I need everybody to face front. Face this direction. Now, as I said, please, you have to make sure you're not going to hit the person behind you and so forth. This is the first activity. When we're talking about goal setting and vision casting, okay? And my wife's got to help me keep time because, believe it or not, my watch stopped like 2 hours ago, which is awesome. So I'm just going to keep going, Matt and Chris. Okay, so your feet are in one spot. I do not want your feet to move until I tell you again it's time to move your feet. Everybody got that? Say yes? Yes. Here's what I want you to do. We're going to start out. Everybody had the opportunity to do this and stretch out a little bit, right? Now just listen through this first. I know car salespeople, we're in automotive, we all jump in and we do, but just listen through this for me, okay? You're going to stretch your hand out in front of you. You're going to look right down the barrel of your fingers. Now, here's the part where you got to listen. You got to watch so you know what the outcome is. You're going to turn all the way around as far as you can. Look right down the barrel of your fingers and see what you're pointing at. Okay, so you're right out in front here, and everybody, do not move your feet. Everybody understands. Don't move your feet, right? Yeah. Okay, so everybody twist around. Look right down the barrel of your fingers, just like it's a firearm. If you're into that sort of thing, and stop. Now snap back to front. Now you have a vision in your mind's eye. Keep your feet planted. You can put your hand down. You have a vision in your mind's eye. You have a vision of what you saw at the end of your fingertips. Would you agree with that? Yeah. You are either pointing at somebody or something. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes. Now everybody's heard the saying, practice makes perfect. And then somebody said, well, I'm going to be really cool, way cooler past that, and I'm going to do perfect practice makes perfect, right? So we kind of extended beyond that. So the one place you can do perfect practice is in your mind's eye. So with your eyes closed, I want you to see yourself doing that same activity that you just did. Kind of see yourself doing the twist. Don't move your feet. Just do it in your mind's eye. And you can see yourself twist around to that same point till you see what your fingers are pointed at, and then snap back to front. Then I want you to do it again in your mind's eye. And this time you're going to see yourself go about a foot or 2 or 3 feet past. And then snap back to front. Can everybody see that? Say aye. Aye. Now I want you to do it again in your mind's eye. Your eyes closed, looking right down the barrel of your fingers, twisted all the way around to the point you're almost at a full 180. Like your waist is an absolute rubber band, and then snap back to front. And then one last time. Now you're going to do it to the point it's just like inhuman. Okay? You can see yourself in your mind's eye twisting all the way around till you're almost a full 360. Your waist is just totally abnormal. And then snap back to front. Now do not move your feet, and I want you to open your eyes. And I want you to do the same activity. Now do it physically. I want everybody to stick your hand right out in front of you, twist all the way around, look right down the barrel of your fingers, and see how far you can make it. And then snap back to front. Now here's the question. Who was able to go further the second time than the first? And why were you able to go further? Visualize it. Somebody provided the vision. Somebody walked you through it. Doesn't matter who it is. Believe me, I'm not that flexible. I can jump like nobody's business, but I'm not that flexible. Okay? So you're able to go further, so you can all go back to your seats. I'm going to get you up again. It's like Catholic Church, right? Get up, stand, sit down, get up, sit down, get up, sit down, kneel, right? We'll go around for collection here in just a minute. My wife's got the plate. Okay? Now here's the deal. You're able to make it further if somebody provides the vision and walks you through it. So if you're in leadership, are you doing that for your people? Now I'd say most people that are at this conference probably are. If you're a frontline person, do you have somebody that's helping to provide the vision for you? Now it doesn't mean they're going to do it for you, they're just going to provide the vision, they're going to walk you through it. Here's the second thing we talked about, or I talked about, training people. Number 2, and now this one's super fast, so I got to slow it way down. Where am I at on time? 1, 2, 3?
2.
3, 30. I'm 30. I'm halfway through. A third. All right. So training people. If you're going to write anything down for this, I would write this down, because here's the deal: every single person here, whether you're in leadership or whether you want to be in leadership. Who again is in leadership? I'm not saying management, leadership, right? Now, who wants a shot to be in leadership? Now, here's the deal. Most people, right? What it comes down to, when you're training people, I'm going to break it down to its core. And I wish this was my original idea. It's not. It's something that I'm re-sharing. And I learned this probably close to 15 years ago, literally on the back of a restaurant napkin. And it has nothing to do with phone numbers. But literally, I was going through, and I had a guy that was a trainer and a speaker, and we were having a conversation. He says, well, here's the magic. He knew I wanted to be a motivator and a trainer. And he says, look, it's really simple. Let me break it down for you. There's 3 steps, and many of you will have already heard this. Even if you've heard it, I'd encourage you to write it down. When it comes to training people, right, if you're going to be in leadership, number 1, cast vision. Number 2, train people. Tell people what you're going to tell them. That's part 1. Hey, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Part 2, then you tell them. Part 3, Dave Benson, what is it?
Tell them what you told them.
Tell them what you told them. I'm going to add 1 dimension to that. Number 4, test them. If you want people to really retain information, tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them, test them. Because otherwise, here's the thing, we go out there and we say, oh yeah, I'm going to be, my dealership, we're going to train 5 times a week, we're going to train 1 time a week, we're going to train 19 times a week, it doesn't matter. And you say, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to do walk-arounds, the management way, right? It's walk-around training time. And then you go and you're going to tell them, right? You're going to engage them. And we do walk-arounds, right? Everybody's been in that training session, haven't they? Yeah, right? And then you tell them what you told them. Well, back in my day, especially when we did walk-arounds, what we used to do was we'd do a backflip over the hood of the car, and that's what really sold it, right? But you don't know if they ever retained or picked up what you told them because you're not testing them on it. When's the last time that you asked them? You said, hey, I want you to repeat to me what I just shared with you. Or when's the last time that one of your managers said, hey, I want you to repeat to me what I just told you? Because you may think you grasp it for a minute, and I don't remember who it was that said it. Look, you can't just say it one time and then all of a sudden it's magical. It's like, oh, it's in there, right? So that's the secret to training. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you told them. The third thing, here's the deal. Oh, that was supposed to be up there a minute ago, so pretend that was up there. I stay right with the slides. Got it? Mental note. Third thing, you got to get out front. So here's where the fun begins. All right, so here's what I'd like you all to do. I'm going to try the bullhorn. Now this is just an illustration. I think I'm going to start over here though for fun. You've been smiling and nodding the whole time, so we just messed with this. I want everybody to stand up. Come on. Now, I told you, Catholic Church, get it. Now, here's the deal. I understand I'm mic'd up. Originally, I was going to use this bullhorn, and I was going to have everyone come out to the hallway with me, but let's not do that. I just want everybody to move as far this way, everybody to this corner of the room. And I'm going to, come on, all the way this way. Yeah, everybody. I want everybody to just squeeze in, pack in here, pack in, it's cool. Matt, I'm trying to keep them in the scope of the camera. Now, I need to get by here. Now, just do me a favor. You guys keep coming. Keep coming, rock and roll. Now, here's the deal. You guys can still hear me okay. That's cool, all the way in there. Now, here's the next part. I want you to listen closely. I gotta get by here, and I need you guys just this direction. We're all gonna move. Hey, why are you guys not playing the game? Come on now. Okay, we've got everybody over. We've got everybody over here, except for the people that are.
What about Matt?
Matt's cool. He's filming, man. Now here's what I want to do. We're just all we're going to do is we're going to walk all the way around the outside. Duck when you go by the camera if you don't want a close up, or if you need. I mean, if you need a close up, that's cool. Timmy, you need a close up, man. You look good on camera. So that's why he does the video thing. So we're going to go all the way around, and we're going to end at the other corner on that side. Everybody got that? So here we go. Here, and it's not timed, it's not questioned, it's all this. And the deal is, if I had a bullhorn, now single file right by there. Here's the deal. Dun, dun, dun. You guys can move faster than that. Come on, high knees. Yeah, it does. Hey, we got to get people moving after lunch. Seriously, you can move faster than that. And wave at the camera, smile. This will be the reminder for Matt Koenig. Okay, I'm just going to move here, but you guys keep coming. Get all the way around the room. This will be a reminder. Everybody has an opportunity to be on camera. Smile and wave. There it is, right there. Joe Calla attended the Rockstar Automotive conference, right? Smile, wave. Gary Pollard, there he is. Just keep going by. Timmy James, you're going to want to stop for a second, Timmy, and just, yeah. All the way around. Come on. It's okay. It can take a minute. I got time. I got nothing but time. Almost there. Now, here's the question, right? Everybody started out in their comfort zone. Would you guys agree with that? Because you find a comfort zone in the room, yes, which is like your seat and so forth. We're just waiting for Team Turbo at the tail end. Did we get everybody? There we go. All right, so now you have a video. Now, here's the question. Now, you guys can get to where you're comfortable and so forth and pull it in here. Here's the question before we go back to our seats. What's the point?
They'll follow you.
Why? Right. So here's the deal. Okay, so real quick, now, faster than what we just did that other thing. everybody quickly get back to your seats, okay? Quickly, move, move, move. High knees. Jerry, high knees. Whoa, more feedback. Yeah, I'll go this way. So here's the message, okay? One is because I knew once I was speaking after lunchtime, I had to get people moving so that nobody's head hit the desk there.
Good job.
Yeah. So part of the deal is this. When you are in leadership, you have to be willing to get out front to an unknown. You have to be able to use whatever tools are available to you. I understand the bullhorns for a fact. Right? But I was willing to use the bullhorn originally when I was going to do it, and Matt told me I couldn't. I was going to drag everybody out to the hallway and do the rest of the talk from the hall. Why? Because who does that at a conference? No one. Everybody wants to be in their comfort zone.
Yeah, true.
And what do I got to lose? Nothing. I'm the guy with the mic, and currently I'm the guy with the bullhorn. And here's the thing. When you're willing to jump into the unknown with whatever tools you've got, abide by whatever rules that are asked of you, if you're willing to go first, and you're willing to ask people to jump into the unknown with you because you've casted a vision for them, they trust you. Like, you've been up here, no one here's ever seen me speak, so you say, hey, I don't know, the guy seems legit, let's follow him, cool. We're going out to the balcony next.
Always you go first.
I just get you right to the point. Okay? So the thing is, if you're willing to go first, you're willing to jump into the unknown, you're willing to use whatever tools, you can get you. Even the guys in the back corner that weren't going to follow you, all you got to do is look at them and say, hey man, you coming? Oh yeah, high knees. Right? Here we go. So you got to be willing to get out front. So here's all three of them together, right? I put them all three up rather than having some flashy way for them to come up, because what are the three things that I would like you to get out of this session today? Yeah, they're up there on the screen. If you didn't write them down, now's your opportunity. Right? Because sometimes I have a tough time following speakers sometimes. They'll go, hey man, I've got 8 things, and then they go up there and wherever Frank went, he screws with your head and he goes, yeah, they're all number 1. And you're going, I got 7. The hell was number 8? Been there, right? So cast vision, train people, get out front. Why? Because when you do those things, remember, the title to the session was Automotive Leadership. Your front line drives your bottom line. So when you're willing to get out front, you'll make more money. Why will you make more money? Because your people will be happier. They'll have trust for you. They'll believe you. They're willing to follow along. Lower stress environment. And who here doesn't like making more money?
Yes, sir. Come on.
Yes, sir, you do or don't. That was like double negative. Okay, just making sure. Everybody likes making more money. And you say, how do you know that it works? Okay, because here's the thing, is a lot of times we come up and talk about, well, and there's this percentage and that percentage and so on and so forth. I am in a dealership that is doing these 3 things. So what's the measurement? What's the ROI? I can tell you this. Our volume has increased incrementally year over year. Okay? We're an independent, totally independent, no franchise attached. Right? I'm not selling 1,000 cars, but I'm on my way. It's coming. Right? We did 182. Is that right, Jamie? You were with me? 182 last month. So incrementally, we're increasing from when we were, starting this a few years back. We were at 120. Now we're at 180, and it's all used cars. And here's the big thing. When I'm talking about increasing your profits, we have the same number of salespeople, so the salespeople are selling more cars, so they're making more money. Everybody's happy, right? Yeah. When you sell more cars, you make more money, you're happy. The dealership is making significantly more money per car. Why? Because the people are well trained, they're happy, they're following along, and so they're confident, right? And confidence sells. So when you're talking per copy, the dealership's happy they're making more money. So at the end of the day, that's what, that's how results are measured, is in dollars, right? I mean, there's lots of other ways, but when you're talking business and so forth. So here's a reminder, many people have said this, as a leader, and everybody here is a leader, you must continue to grow and learn every single day. Every day. Somebody said it earlier, hey, I want to be 1% better than I was yesterday. Right? I just want to keep getting better. Everybody, as a leader, you have to continue to get better if you have that expectation of your people, because if you're not continuing to grow, neither will they. They won't. And here's a tip. This is kind of a side note here. I'm coming to the end. Am I okay on time? I'm coming to the tail end. 5 minutes. Which is perfect. So when I'm talking about growing, for those of you that are already in leadership, for those of you that want to be in leadership, you have to understand, and this is especially the people that are leaders, if you get somebody that's like a level 8 salesperson, right? Or a level 9 salesperson, you all know what I'm talking about, is they grow and they get stronger and they go, oh man, if we're rating, the classic rating system is always 1 to 10. So you get somebody that is a level 8 salesperson, they're well on their way to level 9, right? And that 10 is that upper echelon, it's the perfect sales consultant. That person is not going to follow a level 6 leader for very long.
Amen.
So if you're not growing yourself, if you're not learning, if you're not trying to constantly replace yourself, you're going to be constantly replacing your people.
That's good.
So that's everything I got, man.
All right, Mike. Great job, man.
How about that, Mike Phillips? Take a picture of the contact information on the screen. Mike, I love what you were just sharing about people. One of my favorite things you said was what you said right at the end, which is if you're not constantly replacing yourself, you're going to be constantly replacing your people. That was one of the biggest things that I took away from that. You guys give Mike a hand one more time.